The NFL draft is over, and Jim and I are sitting down, and we've handpicked 4 running back gems here for you that we like initially at first glance for fantasy football 2024. We're talking my favorite position, which is running backs. Welcome to the show, Jim. We're talking gems.
Hey, counselor, how's it going, man? Are you rested up after this weekend? It was crazy. It was a lot of work this weekend.
Dude, it was wild, man. I'm getting frustrated in many situations. I'm grateful in other situations like the Brian Thomas Jr.'s, the Kean Colemans. I'm just like Trey Benson. So many good landing spots for a lot of players. But then you have a lot of players that's like, oh my God, what happened? Now they're entering committees. It's a disaster. We're shaking our heads. You and I were talking over the weekend at the running back position being completely dismantled as they completely get rid of the workhorse running back pretty much. Nobody's safe out there. And that's why I want to talk specifically today about 4 gems that aren't necessarily safe. Well, I think my guys are. I don't know about your guys. We're going to have some disagreeing here. But there's no safety at the running back position, but you got to be able to pick the right player for the right value at the right time that's going to be efficient for you, right, Jim? That's all we could do. That's all we could do.
Yeah, exactly. And there's still opportunities. I mean, it's not going to be workhorse running backs, but it's still primary running backs that are going to get a majority of the workload. And that's what you want. They could be very, very productive for fantasy. And so that's what we want to continue to work on.
Before we get into this, Jim, I want to make everybody aware, massive, massive, massive news. I mean, just buckle up, put your seatbelt on. We are doing the first ever and only Fantasy Sports Summit. This is a virtual summit from the comfort of your home. All you got to do is log on and join us. We are going live with 6 top NFL athletes, including Trey Benson, who we're talking about, including Kyron Williams, and many more. Pat Fryermuth is there if you're a Steelers fan. Rashid Shaheed, who's in a great spot this year. They didn't draft anybody else that's really going to affect him. He's the wide receiver 2 with the Saints. Amazing, guys. We're giving away a PS5, and we're revealing the 5 big secrets to win at fantasy football, never revealed anywhere on the planet. It's going to be huge. The Fantasy Sports Summit combo with the 16-round draft solution where I give you all the optimal players drafted in each round, omitting all of the guys they're going to bust. Last year, Jim, I told everybody avoid Dobbins. I told everybody avoid Austin Eckler and Tony Pollard and everybody, Mike Williams round 5 and Dalvin Cook round 5. All those guys were omitted. We were looking for the Sam Laportas. We handpicked these guys for you, 16 rounds. I've linked it below. Secure the solution, secure this championship, and combo them together below. Dude, I got to plug this. I want to make sure that everybody gets value. Everything that I plug on this show is value to you guys. Secure the solution, secure the championship, and get a ticket to the summit. Jim, I'm so excited. Are you excited about the summit? August 21st can't come soon enough, man, honestly.
Yeah, it's going to be great, man. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be great to talk to these guys. Hopefully they'll have some nice insights for us. And that's what you're hoping for is the inside information, the scoops.
It's going to be wild. All right, guys, subscribe. Oh, yeah, turn on the bell, subscribe. Make sure you guys, lion mentality, smash a thumbs up. Let's get to the show. Jim, why don't we just get right to it? Your first guy that's an absolute gem. You love this guy. I'll let you introduce him and tell us why you're so into him. Why a gem is a big deal, dude. This is a guy that you really love because you wouldn't have even talked about him today, right? Why do you like this guy and who is he?
Well, I got to tell you, man, I mean, we talk about how the workhorse running back is extinct in the NFL,
right?
But this guy comes darn close to being that kind of a player. And, he had a great year 2. He's entering his 3rd season. The draft just happened. His team did not take any new running backs. There's no competition in the backfield for this guy. And so I'll tell you what, man, I love me my Mahomes, but I want his running back. I want Isaiah Pacheco. He is a deal on the draft board. He's going like usually right around the RB12, RB13, right in that range. And this is a guy, he's going to get all the work on one of the best offenses in the NFL, run by one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I mean, there's no more optimal situations. And it's even better than someone like Cook who plays with Josh Allen. Josh Allen takes all the goal line carries.
Right.
That doesn't happen with Isaiah Pacheco. He gets the goal line carries. So, it's just an optimal primary situation. His backup is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I don't care about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I'm not worried about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's not going to do anything. He's never done anything. And so who else is it? That's it. It's him. He's the backfield. and he has been great, very productive, 4.6 yards per carry last year. He
Right.
also had a big increase in his role in the passing game. He went from 14 targets in his rookie season to 49 last year. That's amazing. That's outstanding. That's just like icing on the cake. So I'm all in on Isaiah Pacheco. There's nothing but green grass in front of him here. He's going to be fantastic.
You know what? Prior to this call, this podcast today, just after before your conversation, I wasn't feeling as excited. I think you've added a little excitement to him for me. I'm not like, I think he's just as safe and solid as they come. And the nice thing, I'm looking at the depth chart here because I got all my research here in my hands. I've got all of the draft picks for every team. So I go through this and I'm starting my 16 rounds research. I got so many papers here and I highlight and I like certain players. And I'm looking at the depth chart here. I mean, they re-signed Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's not even a threat. Jerick McKinnon's done nothing. They got another guy there, Ingram. Dude, there's nobody there that's going to take the volume. He's safe. He's steady. The only thing is that he just kind of lacks that upside ceiling, that Derrick Henry like boom type upside. So I don't want to get into average draft positions because it's literally like a day after the draft. Okay. So, or a day or two, a couple days after the draft. I don't want to dive into ADPs too much, but where do we project this guy going? What round do you think we can get this guy? In a 12
looking at the way, I mean, again, I've only been doing best ball drafts, and those are always very wide receiver heavy.
Right.
He's been like a 4th round player the whole time I've been doing best ball drafts so far this year. I don't anticipate he's really going to move up. I think that's just about where he's going to go. It'll probably be a little bit earlier in regular leagues. Right now, he is going as he's going as the RB11, right around.
Yeah.
Geez, where is he going?
He's just after Rashad White. But here's the thing, right? You look at a guy who's similar ADP, and then you got to make a decision. This is where I'm telling you the lack of upside. You got Josh Jacobs right after him in the rankings, right? So if I'm trying to decide between him and then Derrick Henry after that, you got Pacheco, Jacobs, Henry, and then James Cook. I think more upside than Cook, safer than James Cook for sure. But then you've got Josh Jacobs, who I think has more ceiling. So I got to ask you now, since you think he's such a gem, you're on the clock. You got Jacobs, you got Pacheco. I'm probably leaning Jacobs, man.
Yeah, but again, Jacobs will have more competition than Pacheco will because they drafted Marshawn Lloyd.
Yes.
So there's that. That's been added to the backfield. Before it was just Jacobs and A.J. Dillon. I'm like, yeah, give me Jacobs. I was very high on Jacobs. I'm still high on Jacobs. But I'm looking here on this one list. Actually, both Derrick Henry and Josh Jacobs are ahead of Isaiah Pacheco. What we're talking about with Pacheco is right around Pacheco, we got Rashad White, Devin Achane, James Cook, those guys. And of that group, I think Pacheco is probably the safest choice.
Less competition on a less competition perspective.
Right. And so, I mean, again, he's going into his 3rd season. He's established on this offense. He's been a reliable, solid player. I mean, dude, this guy has won Super Bowls every year he's been in the league. I mean,
right.
So I mean, I'm not seeing any downside here to make me want to like pull away from him over any other player, because I just think his situation is so solid and established on a great offense that's going to try to three-peat this year. And frankly, I think they got a good chance to do it. Why not ride with the best team in the NFL?
Listen, I'm not going to disagree with you, but yeah, less competition out of all those guys. Marshawn Lloyd just came out. I saw a quote by him saying he is the best. Now, again, you got to believe in yourself, so I don't blame this guy for talking. He's the best running back out of this class, so he's very confident. And when you got guys like that, and Blake Corum, these guys are ready to eat. They're hungry. They're coming out of college. They're top rookie prospects. And then they get buried on depth charts behind guys that are highly paid or just workhorse guys. It sucks. So you got to imagine they're going to really try to carve out their role. We got Pacheco more established. So I think we've hammered home the point that Isaiah Pacheco, great situation, safe and solid, and showing us that you can wait a round or two and get yourself a solid running back. I just still think he lacks a bit of ceiling. All right, let's keep moving on here. So I'll go to my guy who's an absolute gem. Make sure you guys do drop a comment. I'd love to get your feedback. I want to make this ultra interactive. Jim, I keep talking to people and I say, hey, make it interactive. Smash it, tap it, slap it, guys. Hit the thumbs up. Do I scare you every time I hit the roar? Does that scare you, Jim, a little bit? No.
If it was behind me, I would be a little bit more nervous. If that sound came from behind me, I'd be like, What's going on?
All right.
But I'm cool. I'm cool
I
where
try
it
to
is right now.
I'm gonna try to catch you off guard a couple times in the show. See if we make Jim jump. So guys, smash a thumbs up, tap it, slap it, smash it, lion paw, and make it interactive. Let us know. Pacheco, are you in? Are you out? All right, my guy here. Now, this guy's a little more obvious. He's a top dog. When I say top dog, we're talking first round. He may be my first overall pick yet again. Joel, you're doing it again. Well, yeah, this year there's actually some justification, some real more reasoning on why I love him. The guy I'm talking about is my favorite person in the entire planet when it comes to fantasy is Bijan Robinson. All right, guys, comment below. He's mispronouncing it wrong. I'm the only one pronouncing it right. All right, so Bijan Robinson. I'll tell you why I like this guy. Last year, he was hindered. And I mean, this guy, I don't know what, he had like chains and shackles on him. He was like limited, like unleash the beast, unleash the dog, man. He has that dog in him. Every time he tried to run, he was hindered. Even though he was hindered, even though he was held back, there was such a ceiling on him with Arthur Smith. They didn't want to let him run. They got a new offensive coordinator. Zach Robinson's there. And now, so new offensive coordinator, that's number one. Number two, he's come out and said, I want to rush for like 2,000 yards. He's come out and said, or all around scrimmage yards, whatever he said. He's ready to go. And then last year, I'm looking at 4.6 yards per carry, only 4 touchdowns. And a big problem with this, Jim, maybe you can agree or not, is the problem is they can't get the ball down the field. So he was lacking all those red zone opportunities. That offense was completely inefficient. They didn't have a quarterback. Now they got Kirk Cousins. They're going to work the ball down the field. They've got a real guy under center. Still 214 attempts, under 1,000 yards. And I want to make this point home. In a year where he was completely capped off, he was limited, he was hindered, 186 attempts went to Algier and 50 went to Patterson. Patterson's gone. So automatically, 50 go over there. So now we're at like 275 attempts. That's just taking away Patterson's volume. Not to mention more of that Algier volume is going to go towards Bijan. I'm looking at 300 attempts kind of as a floor, 280 to 300. He's going to have a monster year, young, dynamic. And Jim, another thing, every time he touched the ball, almost every time, he looked great. He looked like he was in the Matrix. He was moving, he was shifting. Such a great talent that was hindered last year. I love him. He's a gem, and I think he's the first overall pick in fantasy this year. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think I was leaning Brees, but then the Jets they drafted who did the Jets draft? I don't have this.
What's his name? Braylon Allen, dude. Like the top.
Yeah, they drafted Braylon. So yeah, I mean, again, the big issue with him last year is just the fact that the offense was just bad. It was a bad offense, a bad quarterback, and that situation is significantly better this year. Arthur Smith gone. And so, it's going to be more of a traditional offense. And we're going to have more scoring opportunities just based on the fact that it's going to be Kirk Cousins and not some hack of a quarterback. So anyway, yeah, I mean, again, the other thing that's very exciting about him is the dude had 86 targets last year.
Right.
Which is, that's one of the highest in the NFL amongst wide running backs. So that's cream on top of your delicious coffee, the nice sweet cream, because it's just all those extra yards, all those extra touchdown possibilities. So yeah, I mean, again, I see that there's an increasing role for him this year, more volume. And easily, over 300 touches and targets is going to happen. It's going to be great. And he should be one of the top running backs this year.
They didn't really touch this offense other than Michael Penix Jr., which was a shock pick, but it's always good to add depth to the roster other than just hindering Michael Penix from an immediate start in the NFL, which is what I don't like. But they went defense with their second pick after Michael Penix, and they went edge, they went defense, linebacker. They did draft a 6th-round running back who isn't going to be a threat just for depth. Jace McClellan, I think
I don't care about that guy.
Yeah, neither do I. And then Casey Washington at wide receiver. So the beauty is that, like, I cannot express this enough to you, man. Like, the soil is right. Like, everything is fresh. Like, everything is so good right now from a fantasy perspective. They believe in Bijan. They didn't go ahead and bring in a Braylon Allen or a Blake Corum. There was a conviction and a belief in Bijan. So, dude, I love him. I absolutely am absolutely giddy about him. I'm excited about him, and I cannot wait to see what he does this year. I'm all in. If I go first round, first overall, Bijan's right on my targets, man. I hope I don't lose him to somebody else because in a year where the running back is becoming extinct, he is in a prime position where the team's like, this is our guy, and then we're not going to bring in somebody else. Love him. Love him. Love him. I want to emphasize this, man. If you got Bijan round one, I would take him over Jefferson all day. Yet you're going to see guys like CeeDee Lamb and Christian McCaffrey is due for a decline this year, 100%. And they brought in Isaac Garando, right? Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. They believe in Bijan, man. He's still young. I have nothing but good things to say. Knock on wood. Hopefully he stays healthy. I pray he does. It's wild. I'm excited, Jim. I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at this whole team, I think there's an argument that can be that Bijan is the best player on this team. I mean, just from a talent standpoint, I think he's the best player on this team. And so you got to utilize your best players. And so that's Bijan as well. Not sure I would take him first overall, but he's definitely a first round pick for me. And he's going right around the middle of the first round. That's a great spot. You can get him in a lot of leagues if he's going, like sixth. I think that's about where he's going, fifth or sixth. So it's a pretty good draft position right now that he's in.
You froze for a second there, and I think that even the computer and the internet connection is so excited that it actually froze you. It had to take a pause. We love Bijan. We love Bijan. It had to take a moment to kind of absorb the excitement there. Okay. Our next one here. Let's go. Your next one, actually. You got one here who I'm just like, Arthur Smith. Go ahead. You could explain this. I'm not really.
Yeah. I mean, I know we were just trashing Arthur Smith. But he is now the offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And frankly, I think he's probably better as an offensive coordinator than a head coach. And this offense that the Steelers have is significantly better than the offense he was able to field in Atlanta. First of all, you got Russell Wilson. You got Justin Fields competing for the quarterback position. And you've got a stacked backfield. And Arthur Smith loves his running backs. But for me, I'm like looking, which of these running backs has the most upside? Which of these running backs is the one that can take over the backfield? And Jaylen Warren he just outplays Najee. Najee's like a volume play who's terrible. And Jaylen Warren is exciting. He is averaging nearly one more yard per carry than Najee does on the year. His role in the passing game, he's taken all the passing work. Basically, in Najee's rookie year, he had like 100 targets, but last year he only had 30. And in the meantime, Jaylen Warren last year had 74 targets. So he's the receiving back, which is very valuable. And I see him just taking more and more carries out of this backfield because he can move the ball. Najee can't do it.
Right.
And so I see this becoming the primary back. We see many cases here where a very talented secondary running back just kind of moves in and takes over the lead running back roles. That's what Kyron did last year. I mean, he was clearly the more talented back. He eventually just took over that backfield. And I think the same thing is in store for Jaylen this year. It is considered a contract year for the player. He's under contract for 2 more seasons. So there's upside, and I just think he's going to be great for fantasy. And he's a bargain on the draft board. That's the other thing. I like him as a bargain on the draft board. Currently going as RB29. I think there's nothing but upside for an RB29 here. He's minimum an RB2, potential RB1 in that offense.
Yeah, I just want to add to this. I want to add something very important here. Steelers, their first round pick, they went Troy Fautanu, offensive tackle. Then they went center Zach Frazier. So they boosted up that O-line just to kind of reinforce your point home. But when I look at the volume distribution last year, Najee, 255 in regards to attempts, Warren 149. He is the pass catching guy. Obviously did better when he touched the ball, a little more yards per carry, more in the reception game. But how much, let's make a prediction here. How much more volume do you see going to Warren, or did they kind of just say, hey, Najee, you kind of showed some heart? Because Najee was showing, if you watched his tape, he was showing a little more heart. Like he was playing like his life depends on it. He was running angry near the end of the season. Do you think more could possibly shift towards Najee? Or are we shifting more towards Warren? Because it could go either way. You're flipping a coin. They could lean more towards their workhorse, or they could lean towards Warren. Nobody really knows. And with a guy like Arthur Smith, I don't trust him, Jim. I'm having trouble with the distribution here, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, again, Najee always starts slow and he comes on strong at the end of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many more opportunities he's going to be given. And if we even look at like a 50-50 timeshare, you could see Jaylen Warren go up to about 225 carries on the year.
Yeah.
That'd be a huge increase from this past year. And as long as he is more efficient and he's more dynamic, he's going to get the high value touches and targets. They're going to utilize him when they need to make a play on the field. And, you know, the guy that can't do it just gets moved to the back seat. And I think that's what's going to happen this year with Najee.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to my last guy here. Dude, Jim, I can't express this enough to you. I absolutely love this guy. When I say love this guy, I'm giddy. And maybe you guys could say, well, Joe's a little biased on my next guy here. I'm going to pull him up here. The guy that I absolutely love this guy. He's an absolute gem, is Trey Benson. Listen, this is a guy that is honestly the top. When I say top, did I scare you there? No, he didn't jump. Jim didn't jump. I was hoping he'd jump with the lion roar there.
It's only if it's behind me, Couch. If I hear it from behind me, then I will jump.
It's in your ears, man. I got to get you some surround sound headphones that anyways. Trey Benson, top running back prospect coming out of this draft. I talked about it in the last episode in regards to rookie gems. I'm adding him again. He's coming to the Fantasy Sports Summit. I'm going to talk to him. He's coming on to the podcast in July, August. I cannot wait, right? I cannot wait because he's so talented. He's so young. He's got tons of tread on the tire. He can run. He can catch. He ran a 4.39. He's explosive. He's everything that you want in a prototypical running back. Entering a situation with a washed up James Conner. Now, James Conner got some volume last year. 208 attempts, seven touchdowns, 33 targets, 27 receptions. He's 30 years old, dude. He's 30 years old. He's had one 1,000-yard rushing season, James Conner. They had DeMar Cotto there. He had like 58 attempts. Dude, it's time. They got Marvin Harrison to stretch the field. They're going to want to win. Kyler's back. You draft Harrison. You've got your wide receiver. You got a quarterback that's got to do something. He hasn't been able to stay healthy for 3 years. And you got to put your best player in. If I'm playing, Jim, I'm going to play my best player. I'm not going to go to old, washed-up Connor. I'm going for young, hungry, dynamic. Feed him. And again, everybody wants to be political. It's a politically correct thing to say, oh, James Conner's our guy. Because they're not going to come out and just say, oh, you lost your job. Trey's going to earn it. And you're going to hear by I would say, sometime in the offseason, July, August, his ADP is going to shoot up because the coach is going to say Trey's starting. Dude, I love this guy. And his ADP right now is very early. I did a couple mock drafts based on current ADPs because everything's going, haywire a little bit. 8th round, dude. And I'm getting an RB1. This guy will be, mark my word right now. The date is, what's the date today? And April 29th. Mark my word, Jim. April 30th. Mark my word. Trey Benson will be a top 10 running back in fantasy this year. There you go. I've unloaded. Let me know. Am I crazy here or what? What are your thoughts?
Well, what we saw with all the running backs that were selected in this year's draft is they all went behind established RB1s. Mm-hmm. And of all those RB1s that had someone drafted behind them, I think this is the best opportunity that Trey Benson could come in and take over. I mean, Connor is not 30. He is turning 29 next week. So he's going into his age 29 season. This is a guy that has always had a problem staying healthy. He's only played 13 games in each of the past 2 seasons. So he's already missing a lot of time.
Time out. I have him listed at 29 and he's turning 30 May 5th. I got him turning 30 May 5th.
Oh, well, see, I see here he was born in 1995. So that's May 5th, 1995 is his birthday. That means this would be he's turning 29.
Give or take a year, whatever. Either way.
Yeah. But anyway, regardless, this is a danger zone for running backs. We saw it last year. We saw what happened with Aaron Jones. We saw what happened with Austin Eckler. The wheels come off, man. The wheels come off. The risk of injury skyrockets. This guy's already an injury risk. I mean, he already qualifies as a low reliability player based on how much time he's missed over the past 2 seasons. And you add into the fact that he's now 29.
You're right. He's 28 now, turning 29. My mistake. Yeah, you're right.
What I can see happening here with these older guys, right? They always start out, they look really good. Like the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, he'll look really strong. He'll look really good. But then you know what? It just piles on. He can't take the hits anymore. And there's Trey Benson sitting there ready to get in and go. And I think that this is a situation where over the course of the season, it's going to become Trey Benson's backfield. And that's how I see it playing out.
I see at the start of the season, he's the immediate starter. I don't see James Conner starting the season. I don't see it, man. But I could be wrong. But either way, Trey Benson is going to be on all my rosters. Sign me up. I've got the ticket, front row seats, and I'm going to be sitting there. And I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to tell him in August, you're the starter. I'm telling him. I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to say, you're starting. That's it. That's
yeah,
right.
and like I said, I've already taken a ton of Trey Benson. I've taken him in just about every best ball draft I have. I think I got him in like 80% of the leagues I've drafted it so far. So I'm excited. I think he's going to be great. This is an exciting offense. I think there's a massive upgrade to this whole team for as far as being able to score points, being a scoring position. I think it's really good. So there's a lot of upside here, and Trey Benson should benefit from that as well. So yeah, I like him.
All right, guys, smash a thumbs up. Comment below. Let us know what you guys think. Are these guys gems? Do you agree? I don't really agree with Warren. I think he could be special, but I don't know. Najee's still there. He's clearly the 2. Benson's going to take the 1 spot. Bijan's clear cut. I see that one. Let us know what you guys think. Pacheco's solid. He's safe as they come. I think he still lacks a ceiling. Let us know. Do you agree with these thoughts? Do you disagree? Are you drafting these guys? Are you all in? Are you all out? Love to get your feedback. Make sure you guys do grab the 16-round drafts, which I've linked it below. Use code SMASH to save. And grab a ticket to the summit. Combo with the summit. Jim, anything else you want to add before we roll out of here and wish everybody a happy Tuesday?
I think that's it, man. Have a good day, everybody.
Guys, we're out. Fantasy football is back. Whoa. There we go. Jim almost flinched there. We almost got him. We'll get you eventually, Jim. We're out, guys. Have a good one.